Okay, Joe McGowan is back on the podcast. We've talked about in his previous, I think he was there 13 months ago. He was on the podcast. We talked about his previous films. This one's longer than the other ones. P is for penis. Of course, P is for penis. That is the short film that you
Of
just
course.
made, 9 minutes long. And tell me, what's the meaning of the title? P is for penis.
Well, it's to do with one of the main characters' penis. It's the main gist of it is a very scary, intimidating, unhinged menace has a penis that's shaped the letter P, and it's very embarrassing for him, and it accidentally comes out in conversation down the pub with him and two other guys, one who doesn't know him and one who's overly familiar.
So you have to use your imagination, right? So I'm thinking about it, and it's got to be a pretty long penis for it to make a P, right? So it's got to twist around, kind of have that.
Everyone who asks me about it, it's always like something different. Is like I remember like just like why don't you draw it and then they're like, oh, what about this? I'm like, well, if that's how you see it, that's how you see it.
Gotcha.
I remember very early on thinking, do I actually show it? Like, do I try and get funding to like make a prosthetic or something? But really quickly, it was just like it's funnier if you don't show it and you
100%.
just let the audience's imagination run riot because it's such a bizarre shape for someone's dick to be. So yeah, I don't answer the question. It's just like whatever's in your head's way funnier than what I can imagine. So
Yeah, it's like the whale in Moby Dick, I guess, right? So
exactly.
yeah. He did. It's good not to see it, or the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, whatever you want to analogy you want to use, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
because yeah, it's good. It's better not to know, right? So
No, definitely, yeah. As long as the suitcase isn't, on someone's lap as it's opened up, let's hope it's not a golden penis in there.
so obviously the cast and the location are key to your film, right? So where would like it's like it looks like a real pub, so I'm assuming it's a real pub. Where did you shoot it?
Yes, it is a real pub. It's called the Virgin Queen, and it's a really nice little pub in Bethnal Green, which is in East London. Um, I had another location lined up, but it was going to be using the basement of a pub, which is used as a comedy club. But it had like no natural light, and it was a bit dingy. And I was meant to get it for free, and then the pub owners got involved, and they wanted a bunch of money, and it was just like, well, if I'm going to have to spend a load of money on a location that doesn't really look very good, it's going to be a nightmare to light. I might as well go somewhere that looks nice. And I actually found the Virgin Queen relatively quickly, and it wasn't too badly priced either. And it adds to the character of the film, I think. So I'm really happy
100%,
with where we shot
100%.
it.
Because it has that it's authentic. It's got that, and it's also looks like a dungeon in a sense, if that makes it like it has that kind of vibe to it. This is the
Yeah.
North American perspective, by the way. So like,
Well, it's funny 'cause I just watched it before coming onto the call again for the first time in a while, and you kind of have two sides of it because when it's Dom's coverage, who's the sort of the clueless idiot, his shot is actually quite light and bright and nice because he's by the window, and then when it's on Tim, who's having a nervous breakdown the whole time, his shot's quite dark and dingy. So even the shot composition kind of reflects how the character's feeling in that sense. It played a big part, that location. It's like a whole character in itself.
100%. It's funny. I have that in the notes about like your way you shot it. It was like that's the perfect kind of subconscious analogy to these characters, right? So yeah, it's like that's great directing right there, right? So and so basically, so tell me about the three actors. Where did you find them?
So David Hopper, who plays Dom, who's the clueless idiot, he actually approached me while I was in the very early stages of writing the script. And he had an amazing comedy show reel and previous work that he'd done. So he'd worked on some BBC series here and stuff online, and he played that character really well. And then when you're from Newcastle and you have that Geordie accent, it all just goes with the territory of being the sort of the ditzy fool, I guess. It's a bit of a stereotype, but it works really well. And I was just like, okay, I'm writing this. Let me send you a draft once it's done. And then he was like, I love it. And I just went, do you want it? He's like, yep. So cast him very quickly. And then I put a casting call out for the roles of Tim and Perry, and then found Tim Treelaw, who played Perry, and Mitchell Fisher, who played Tim. Very confusing when you've got a character called Tim and then an actor called Tim who plays someone else. But yeah, originally for the role of Perry, I was thinking more of like quite big East End, like bruiser, sort of geezer, just like a massive person. And then Tim auditioned for it, and he put a bit of a spin on it where it's almost like if you would walk past a bar at like 10 in the morning and then there's some older man there with a pint ready to go, that's kind of the performance he put in, where it was just like you don't want to approach him just because he's just going to fly off the handle. And he just killed it and made me tweak the script from there. And then Mitchell was so good at being a nervous wreck in his audition. It was very easy for me to cast him.
Yeah, they're all fantastic. But I like the story of that you just described with David Hopper. So you didn't know him personally. He just kind of like saw what you've done in the previously, and he wanted to work with you.
Yeah, so he'd seen the shorts which had been on the previous festival with you guys, which were on my website, and he found my website and he found my sketches and my commercials that I'd done, and just liked what the work that I was putting out there and stuff, and just said, if you're doing anything, please keep me in mind. I'd love to work with you. And it was just really good timing on his part that I was writing this specific part that he was almost perfect to play. So yeah, it just worked out really well.
That's amazing. That's a good actor. Like from like he's seeing what he needs to do, and it's like he's ambitious. He's networking with you in a sense, and now he's in the film, right? So
Yeah, definitely. And he's constantly at it. Yeah, the hustle that David goes for is great, and he gets jobs on his own
yeah.
without his agent's like, oh, it's really dry this year, and there's not much, and he's just like, I've landed 6 jobs by myself, like, why, so he's sort of switched agents since then.
Yeah.
And I do the same as well, because I'm a freelance director and editor, and I'm constantly having to cold calls and do emails and stuff, so I respect his approach to it.
So tell me about your idea. You wrote the screenplay. When did you kind of like? Because you've done these like we show you like the smaller films, kind of like they're not. I don't want to call them skits, but there's a premise that's there and it's funny. But this is kind of a more drawn out story, which is you nailed it. And I'm just curious about your kind of premise of this particular film.
Yeah, so I'd actually written a script for another short called Under the Influence, which was going to be about almost like a traffic warden character that was going to shut down annoying TikTokers and influencers and stuff. And I wrote it and I liked it at the time, and then I took a step back from it and then went back to it, and I was just like, I don't think I like this. I think I've kind of haven't written in my voice, and I've tried to play it a bit safe. So maybe it would go to like a bit of a broader audience. So I was just like, I just want to write a funny conversation that's just a bit silly. And I quickly came up with the idea of, what if someone's penis was misshapen? Okay, what shape should it be? And originally I thought, well, if it was a letter, what weird, if it was a T, what if it was a T-shaped penis? And I was like, that is a weird image. Okay. And then I was in the car and I was just airing this nonsense to my girlfriend, who's now my fiance. She was just
Congratulations.
like, thank you very much. She goes, this is the reason why I'm marrying her, right? She goes, well, if it was a P, then his dick and balls would spell the word poo. And I just went, well, that's fucking genius. And now that's in the script. And I was just like, I was just like, I love you to pieces, but I'm also furious that you've written probably one of the best jokes in the film and I haven't. So
Yeah.
yeah, that made it in there. And then it just kind of it went from there really. It was and in the long run, I would love to do longer form comedy stuff and maybe into sitcoms. So I kind of approached it of, let's write it as almost like a sitcom scene, which is essentially almost like an extended sketch, but I went with that sort of sitcom approach.
Yeah, it's like but it's a proof of concept of a potential sitcom, perhaps. I guess you can pitch it like that.
Maybe I need, I'm not sure about these characters, but it's definitely practice for, you know, witty dialogue between two, three people and just an escalating situation.
Mhm.
And it's almost like this kind of triangle flow where you've got nervous wreck character, and then you've got the menace that's making him nervous, and then you've got the clueless guy that's making it worse. Then he gets more nervous, he gets more angry, he says something, and it just sort of keeps going like that. So I kind of wanted to keep that energy throughout, and I think it does.
Yeah, well, it does 100%. And like you said, it's three characters, one location, and basically in a funny joke, I guess, right? So
Exactly. Yeah. It's I say it's short and sweet. It's my longest one, but it's simple and it's to the point, and it kind of stays the course, and it just goes on that trajectory of getting more and more absurd, and Tim just falling to pieces by the end of it, and dripping with beer as well.
there's a friendship there between the two of them. Like they're close. Like you see the love between the two friends, right? When they're having the conversation after you,
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, Tim and Dom have known each
yeah.
other a while, but it's like you always, I think in a lot of group of friends, everyone's kind of got that one person who says stuff without thinking. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, and just someone saying something that just makes the situation awkward with a stranger, or someone who doesn't want a secret being told. Um, and yeah, again, Mitch, David, and Perry just nailed that scene.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you got a pretty good body of like a pretty great body of work so far. Like Couples Noise is a fantastic film, and then you got Piss Up, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Takeaway was the other one. It's good to have those four under my belt because they all just show something different. Um, and I like each film to kind of step it up in either production value, or obscenity or absurdity, and just come at it a bit different. And I've started slowly writing my next one, but that's going to need a bit of money.
mhm. So you wrote in your blog interview that Back to the Future is the movie you've seen the most in your life.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those ones where if it comes on TV, if I'm just flicking through channels and I see it's on, even if it's halfway or at the start or it's the last 20 minutes, I'd just kind of stop and just watch it, because it's up there with like Jurassic Park as those perfect films that are just so easy to watch, and so entertaining, and with Back to the Future, very, very funny as well.
So in Toronto, they're doing Back to the Future, the musical. So the Broadway version of Toronto, which is pretty ritzy, and is they're doing the musical of Back to the Future. Would you want to?
I've seen it in London. It
Oh, you
was
saw it. Oh, there
phenomenal.
you go. You're ahead of me. So how is it? Should I go watch it?
Oh, it was amazing. Like some of the stuff they did live in the theater is absolutely insane. I don't want to spoil it at all, but it's well worth your money. It
They
was
just do
hilarious.
the first
Just the
film.
first, just the first film, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They did a few extra sort of original numbers here and there, but they're really good. Um, but yeah, it's phenomenal. It's hilarious because when I went and watched it, the guy that played Marty McFly, flawless American accent, very, Michael J. Fox-esque to that character. And then when they've all bowed, and, it's all finished, everyone's, clapping. He then talks normally and he sounds like me. He's from Essex. And I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Thank God he didn't win the film. I've been taken right out of it.
Well, it's in the plenty. It's in the hundreds of great English actors doing American accents in movies and theater, and then there must be a class that they take because they're usually all fantastic and you can't even tell. And then you hear their voice and it's like, what?
I know. I remember watching House, like on, like binging House, and
Yeah.
it's just like at first it's like Hugh Laurie, British comedy legend, in Blackadder and Fry and Laurie's sketch show and stuff, and all the Americans just know him from being House. It's just absolutely bizarre, but yeah, they know what they're doing.
I think the best example of my maybe you haven't seen the show is McNulty from The Wire. And that's played by who's that played by? It's a Dominic West. I apologize. Basically, yeah, Dominic West plays him. He just played Prince Charles in The Crown, and
Oh yeah,
he plays like this blue collar Baltimore rough and tumble cop, and he just, and you assume that's him, that like he's a blue collar guy from Baltimore, and then he's
Mm.
like some uppity, like my words not yours, uppity English actor, and he's like kind of nailing this American, American everyman. It's just like it's unbelievable, right? So
Yeah. Well, well, again with the other way, because I'm watching The Crown for the first time at the moment with my fiance, and
yeah,
the guy that plays Churchill is an American actor. I
John
can't
Lithgow,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like I saw him on screen. I went, yes, I love this. He started talking. I was just like, oh, this is fantastic. When you just watch great performances like that, it's just oh.
So the one last thing, well, let's see, so you see over like right here, that painting there,
Yeah.
that's a Back to the Future script. So what the artist did is that he took the script of Back to the Future and he made a painting out of it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Is it
So it's
painting or
all
print?
it's all the writing. It's all the writing from first page to last page, and then he made an art of out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is that a print or is it an original one?
I think it's a print. My wife got it for me for my birthday, so I'm assuming it's a no. You know what? I should ask her. I have a feeling it's the original. It's an original. I think they do. I'm sure he's done more than one of it, but I'm sure it's an original. So yeah.
Oh, I might have to get one to go like here just to match yours.
And then next year we'll do another podcast with when you make your next film. So
Yeah, this time next year.
sorry,
This time next year, yeah.
this time next year, because yeah, you did May 2013. Now it's now 2023. Now it's June 2024. So maybe July 2025.
Yeah, well,
Every
we'll see
13
what.
months.
Yeah.
So yeah, so great that no, it's a really solid film. So are you working on like a sitcom? Are you writing like a sitcom, a half-hour sitcom? What are you working on now?
Well, I had an idea for a sitcom for a while, but haven't put pen to paper. But then this next short, which I was thinking of doing, which is kind of set in a fantasy setting, I envisioned it as a short, but then I'm coming around to the idea of actually maybe more moving it towards maybe doing a sitcom. So I've started writing it, and I think I'm going to write it sort of like as a sort of 10-15 minute kind of proof of concept, and yeah, and see if I can grow it from there. Need to finish the first script, but yeah, I think I was telling my fiance about it, and she was like, "That's probably one of your best ideas that you've had. That sounds really fun." I'm just like, I need to do it because it does sound good.
And what is your aspiration to like work on television, like or like make a movie? What's your ultimate goal?
Oh, yeah, that's the question, isn't it? I'd like to say all of it, but I'd love to get on doing some some TV comedy work. I don't have any of that in my repertoire. I've had conversations with people who have worked on like IT Crowd and you know, other big shows like that, and they've seen my work and they say I'm doing all the right things. You just got to sort of keep at it, and you know, hopefully things will come your way, which is nice to hear. Especially, you know, I feel like I'm starting out and I'm getting, you know, words like that from them. Um, I'd like to do a film at some point, but again, I almost like if I'm doing a film, it needs to be my film. But I think I need to let go of that and just try and get as much experience as I can. I ultimately just want to make funny stuff with funny people.
Gotcha. Well, that seems like a good goal to have. So yeah, so keeping truck. When are you getting married?
Literally a year from now. So on the 21st of June, 2025 is when we get married. So yeah, yeah, we've got the venue, the dress has been bought. We just got everything else to worry about.
It's a long ways away, but then again, it also creeps up on you. So
Yes, it does. Yeah, we're trying to design the save the date together at the moment, and then yeah, and then we'll get the ball rolling with everything
how many
else.
people will go? How many people will attend?
I think it's about 80.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
about
good,
that.
that's a perfect size in my opinion. I used to videographer weddings, and like I'm Italian, so a lot of them like two, three, 400. It was too
Oh,
much.
oh God, no! I don't think I know that many people I like, so it's pretty easy.
Exactly. Exactly. My wedding was like, it was almost like a cash grab. It's like, let's fight as many people as we can so we can make money. So basically, that's the American way.
Yeah.
But
Jill, my fiance, she's like, "Boy, if I'm inviting this cousin, then this other family member has to come who I haven't seen in 10 years and all this stuff." And I'm just very much like, they're coming, they're not coming. I'm very kind of to the point of just, I haven't seen you in 10 years.
yeah.
I'll see you another time.
Yeah, it's like a string theory where like if you have to invite this one person, then that means it's you have to invite their family members and then them. And then if you invite one person, you have to invite 20 other people. But if you cut
Yeah,
them out, then you don't have to invite all those that's what happens. So
yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, but
yeah.
we'll get through it.
Right. All right. Well, congratulations on the success of this film. I can see on your Instagram it's doing well on the festival circuit. I have no doubt. I watched it right away when you sent it in. I loved it. And keep in touch. You got your films on our streaming service, and let's keep at it. Let's you're always got a free submission with us, and let's talk soon.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you in a year.
Let's try to make it 6 7 months. Think you can do it in 6 7 months? No.
No,
All
I got
right.
a wedding to plan, man.
How about yeah? So if it's next year, then you're going to be married. So we'll ask you how marriage is. So
Yeah.
and then you got a whole new story realm from the marriage. Trust me, it's different. If you're living with her, it's different. As soon as you get married, for some reason it just changes. Everything changes. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
more comedy in your inspiration. So,
yeah. Well, as long as the comedy doesn't come from the nightmare wedding, then I'll be happy.
well, but then again, if it's a nightmare wedding, you got some stuff to use for your comedy. So,
Good point. Good point.
but I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, thank you so much, and let's talk soon.
Cheers, mate. Bye.